Hi, so you want to learn how to detail your wheels like a professional? Well, so stay tuned. We're going to go over those details next. Hi, I'm Todd Cooperrider with Esoteric, and welcome to our at-home series. Speaking of series, this is part 2. We went into the detail of how to wash your car at home. Like we said, we're professional detailers here. We want to bring this to a home-based setting, so we're doing it with the exact same kind of challenges that you are. All right, now you want to work on your wheels, you want to clean them up, you want to get them looking fantastic. First, let's go over the details of what kind of products and tools you need to get the job done right. First and foremost, you need a good, effective wheel cleaner. Something like Geon Iron here, this is our favorite. It's a pH neutral, very effective, particularly when you're working on German cars like this. They produce the worst brake dust. You want to be careful with the over-the-counter stuff. Most of it is acidic, and you could potentially damage or stain your wheels if you're not careful with it. So, Geon Iron. Another thing you want to think about is a tire cleaner. Sometimes your tires just start looking kind of bad, or you want to refresh your tire dressing. A dedicated tire cleaner is something that you want. Then you want just a good pH neutral shampoo. In this case, the same stuff that we use on the car, Geon Bathe, we can use that in our wheel washing bucket. And then finally on products, something like Supersport from POLISHANGEL, that's for caring for it afterwards. We want to add a little protection. Now, what about the tools themselves? One, you want a soft wash media. This, we have our esoteric sponge. We talked about in our wash video. We cut one in half. That way we know which one's dedicated for the wheels, which one's dedicated for the surface. You don't want to mix them up. The other, you want a good wheel brush. Now, there's a lot of different kind of wheel brushes out there, and we like these. They're still pretty soft, they're flexible, and even though they're big, they will fit tightly in the areas where you have very little space between the caliper and the wheel itself. Just make sure that you've got a rubber tip on the top of this, because if not, you can scratch up your wheels. You don't want to do that. This one is a more stiff brush that we're using for our tires. And finally, we have got a lug nut brush, getting in the lug nuts, getting into brake calipers. Those are the most what you want to have. And a couple other very important tools that you're going to want to have are some towels and possibly a dryer like our big boy dryer. Typically, we're going to be using our more general purpose towels, something we're not worried about getting dirty. And just remember, we're not going to use those towels on anywhere on the exterior of the car. So we try to keep all that stuff separated. Here, we talked about in our wash video, we have got our pressure washer, we've got our deionized water, we've got our MTM foam cannon. So that's everything that we need. As we talked about before, when you're washing your car, you want to do the wheels first. Why do we do that? We don't want to have a wash car and then clean the wheels and all the nastiness from the wheels get up on your clean car. So we wash the wheels first, then we go on to the regular washing. Couple other safety notes that we want to bring up is you want to make sure that everything is cool to the touch. You don't want to be out hammering in your car, have your brakes and your wheels real hot when you do it. You don't want it in direct sunshine. So how we're going to start off, we're not going to bother you and rinse any of this first. We're going to spray it down with our wheel cleaner, and we're going to let it soak for 2 to 3 minutes. It'll start activating. We'll show you what that looks like when this kind of wheel cleaner is activating. Then we'll get on to the rest of the cleaning. So first things first, let me get the wheel all sprayed down with cleaner. And I want to make sure that I get this in all the little areas where everything can hide. You want to be thorough with it. And you'll notice with a wheel cleaner like this kind of active ingredient that's in this, it smells. There's no two ways about it. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. It stinks. So you want to use this in a well-ventilated area. So get well back into the wheel wells, not just the faces. And you can see it starting to activate already. We're going to break here for a moment, give you a close-up of this, and we're going to get into the rest of the wheel cleaning. All right, the next step after I've let this dwell, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on all 4 wheels first. Give it plenty of time to dwell on the surface to allow everything to break down. And because the wheels are a little bit dirty, this stuff is kind of nasty, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rinse everything off first, then I'm gonna go into the cleaning of it, because otherwise you get your wheel brush here, you're working inside, it's gonna be flicking all that nastiness back all over you. So you wanna make sure and rinse this off. You don't have to have a pressure washer, but it's gonna make your life a lot easier. Okay, now that I've got it rinsed off, you can see most of the stuff that's on there is gone. One of the reasons is because I've got ceramic coatings on the wheels, everything cleans up a little bit easier. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna swap this out. I'm gonna grab my foam cannon and I'm gonna soak the wheel in foam, and that's what I'm gonna use to clean it. Now, what I would do at this point is if I'm gonna go here and clean this up, if I want to do the tires, I'm gonna spray everything down with my tire cleaner while this sits, and I'm gonna scrub the tire. So just kind of give you a quick idea how that would work without doing the entire tire. Just gonna scrub this a bit. Like I said, this really makes a nice difference when you're getting ready to put fresh tire dressing on it, because the tire starts looking a little bit bad. You don't want to just put tire dressing over tire dressing. Strip it down on occasion, and it's going to make it look a lot better. Okay, now that we have that, I've also put a little bit of soap right here into the bucket, and I'm going to go in and clean it. It doesn't matter what order you do first. Typically speaking, I'm going to grab my wheel brush, and I'm going to get in, and I'm not just going straight in. I'm kind of tilting it on each spoke so I can get behind it a bit. And make sure you're getting all the way to the back of the barrel of the wheels. You can see some of the soap flying back at me, which is exactly why I wanted to wait to get it completely rinsed off. This is not a fun job, it's not a clean job, but it's got to be done. See here, this collapses so I can get in there back behind the brake calipers. Now, if this was a car where I couldn't reach that, what I would have to do is I would have to move the car a couple of times so I get full access to that. Now that I've got that done, I'm gonna take my lug nut brush and I'm gonna get in here, get everything out. I'm gonna go on the stem here, get everything in there, and then I can get in to my brake calipers. Don't forget your brake calipers. Particularly if you got a car like this that has nice finished calipers, you want to show those off. And the way you show those off is to make sure that they're completely clean. Okay, finally, I have got my soft esoteric sponge here, and I'm going to get in and I'm going to methodically work my way around. And what I can do, if the wheels are exceptionally dirty, I can go in here because I've got a grit guard in here so that all the sediment falls to the bottom, and I can rinse out my wash mitt or my microfiber towels or my sponge, whatever it is that I'm using. And another thing that you can do, sometimes it's hard to keep track of where you started. You know, if you pick this right here as your starting point, it's always easy to remember when you get around to the other side. Okay, I'll rinse this out a little bit. Go in here, get the center spots. Just make sure everything is good. Now, if I see in here there's a little bit left over, I can reach my wash mitt inside, or sometimes the inner part of the rim, you can see it pretty well. It gets dirty. So just kind of reach inside there to get all that clean. Because clean wheels make the biggest difference on a car. You can go in and detail the whole thing, but if you don't get your wheels completely clean, that's like wearing your best outfit with your nastiest work shoes. You have to have nice looking wheels to really set off the car. And when you have aftermarket wheels like these are things like jewelry. You really want them to show off. But even if you have standard car, standard wheels, the better job you do at keeping them clean, they're gonna look better, and you're not gonna be fighting corrosion down the road where the wheel starts looking bad. Okay, so we got all this clean. We got our tire clean, calipers and our lug nut areas, all the inner barrels. So now what I can do, I can go around and do all of these before doing my final rinse, or you can stop and rinse off one at a time. Doesn't make that much difference. This is a pH neutral soap that I have on here, so it's not gonna hurt anything. Also, speaking of pH neutral, we talked about our wheel cleaner. Because it is pH neutral, we can use that on any kind of wheel. So it doesn't matter if it's painted wheel, powder coated, raw aluminum, polished. It doesn't matter if you've got carbon ceramic rotors, it's not going to hurt anything. So make sure that you choose wisely. And once again, using something like our Geon iron, we use it at the shop, many cars every day, day in, day out, all kinds of different ones without any issues with it. So we're gonna go on to rinsing this, get everything cleaned off, and then we're gonna talk about some of the final steps that are involved in proper wheel care. All right, now we've got our wheels completely washed, completely dry. You see they use my big boy blower, which is a great way for getting everything inside the wheels, getting inside the lug nuts, the brake caliper, all the details to make sure stuff is dry. Now, if you have coated wheels, you could, just stop where you're at. You're probably gonna be fine. Or like a coated vehicle, you need to maintain those as well. Something like POLISHANGEL Supersport here is a fantastic product for maintaining your coated wheels. Or if you've got no protection on your wheels whatsoever, this is like a light version of a coating. It's very, very easy to apply, and by using it regularly, it makes that entire cleanup process much, much easier. And it's literally as simple as a little bit of a spray right into the towel, go in, wipe it on the surfaces. It doesn't require a lot. If you wanted to spritz a little bit right on the wheel, you can do that as well. A little bit goes a long, long way. Just wipe everything in as far as you can get your hand to reach. And you can see down in here, during the process, it'll still continue to drip. You're gonna wanna go down there and get all that stuff inside as well. And a neat little thing to do with this, if you have a wheel that has no protection on it whatsoever, you take some of the Supersport, you wipe it in, hit it with water, and you see the water just falls right off. So there you have it. Those are all the steps that we as professionals use to get the best results out of wheel cleaning, to keep them looking better for long periods of time, and finally to have some protection in it as well. As always, any questions or comments, leave it below. I'm the person that goes on and answers all those. And don't forget to check out the other video in this series that we did over the entire washing process. Those two videos together are going to give you about everything that you need to be able to detail the exterior of your car like a pro.